Good morning. I welcome all of you to my 184th video. In this 184th video, I take a subject related with the safety. You know, name of my series which is related with the safety is Safety Talks. It is the 6th episode of Safety Talks. Once again, I welcome all of you to Safety Talks English episode 6. Everybody knows it is about our safety. Mostly it is related with engineering safety. Some more way we can say it is related with the safety of mechanical engineering. In mechanical engineering, it is related with the structural fabrication and pipe fabrication. Its safety, I give emphasis to these two fields safety. Same time, I give importance to safety which is far away from engineering. Because of that, in my earlier episodes, I have described about safety which is related with our home, our kitchen. Those ones also will be told in this episode, but I give emphasis to engineering safety. Everybody knows Toolbox is being heard at early morning at the time of work starts. Before work starts, we will hear it. But whatever we heard yesterday, that is being heard today, and that will be heard tomorrow also. So, somebody maybe got bored. It shouldn't happen. If it is being happened, accident also will be happened. So, when you hear Toolbox talk from your foreman, supervisor, superintendent, or safety officer, or some others may give you Toolbox talk, that time whatever you hear through one ear, that shouldn't be gone out through your another ear. Instead of that, whatever you have heard through one ear, that has to come into your heart. If it is lying in your heart, if it is being underlined in your mind, if it has been highlighted in your brain, it won't go away from you and you won't forget it. Because of that, you won't get accident. So when you hear Toolbox talk, please don't get bored. Instead of that, keep it in your mind. It has to be underlined in your mind, heart, brain. Let it be happened. Actually, everybody may get bored because whatever yesterday we did, that is being done today, that will be done tomorrow also. So same operations are happening most of the time. So there won't be any changes to Toolbox talk also. Slight changes may be there. Yesterday's work and today's work will have slight difference only, and today's work and tomorrow's work will have only a slight difference only. So Toolbox talk also will have a slight difference. So don't get bored. Instead of that, keep it in your mind and underline it. Then it will be with you. You won't get accident If you don't get accident, you can consider, I am enjoying life, I am enjoying art. It is an art. Going far away from unsafe work, going far away from accident is one kind of art, like dance, song. If you dance, it is an art. If you draw pictures, it is an art. If you sing one song, it is an art. It is also an art. Go far away from accidents and avoid an accidents. It too has to be kept in your mind as an art. Then you will enjoy life. Everybody has to enjoy life in the proper way. For avoiding this all, in some other episodes I have told, we have to have one more year. For indicating about it, I have told the story of or life of one snake. It is vigilant always. In some episodes I have told, if we catch, once I had gone to Parasinikadav, I have told you those stories, so I don't describe about it. In that story, in that incident, I told how did he catch that snake. When he catches the snake, he brought one piece of small towel which is having a red color towel he brought. We can bring anything, but that time he had one towel, its color was red. So I told its color was red. He just swung that towel in front of that snake. When he was doing it in the movement like a pendulum, the snake was also having this swinging movement. If this towel goes to this side, snake will look to that side. If it is going to this side, it will look to that side. That much vigilant it was. We too have to be vigilant. But how did he catch him? He brought his another hand behind of the snake's back. He took the hand, he took its another hand in its backside and he caught the snake in its neck. That time also his movement, the swinging movement was going on. And he told us, if we stop this swinging movement, snake's eye will be found out your another hand which has gone to backside. Within seconds, it will turn its head to back and it will bite us. So, when it had eyes in its front side, actually it is having eyes in its front side. We have to avoid its concentration, so we brought one red towel and we swung it in front of its eyes. That time we could catch holding its backside of the neck. Actually, if it had one more eye in its backside, we wouldn't have been caught it. So always we have to have one eye in our backside. Lord Almighty God hasn't given one more eye in our backside. Even if we have to make it, how can we make one eye in our back? We have to be vigilant. We have to be concentrated in our work. We shouldn't see dreams. We have to see dreams at the time of sleeping. Whatever we have to do now, that has to be done. If we work, we have to work properly. Our mind has to be here. Our concentration has to be here. And we shouldn't be with dreams. Dreams has to be happened. Sweet dreams has to be happened. Let sweet dreams be happened at night. It means at the time of work, you work properly. At the time of sleep, you sleep properly with sweet dreams. The time when we sleep, if we have to see one sweet dream, instead of that, that sweet dream is being seen at the time of work, our backside eye will be closed and the accident which is coming from backside won't be visible, we will get accident. So when we work, we have to have concentration in our work. We have to think and work. We have to ask to ourselves, what am I doing? And give answer to yourself. I am grinding, or I am marking, or I am bending. Any answer you can give. Afterwards, again you ask a question, shall I get an accident? You give answer, no, I want to get accident because I have worn gloves. Or you can give another answer, no, I won't get accident because I am able and expert to do this work. I am skilled worker. Another answer you can give, no, I will get accident because I am hurrying, not following the safety rules. Any answer you can give. If your answer is negative, if your answer may be caught because of that accident, if you will fall in one accident, you can avoid. So ask a question to yourself and give answer. You yourself has to give answer for that questions. These questions and answers have to be with you from the time of work and up to the time of work end. Then it indicates you are having third eye in your backside. You won't get accident. So Lord Almighty God has given third eye in your backside, but you have to have one eye in your backside. You have to make it, you have to practice it. For that purpose, you shouldn't dream anything when you will be working, and you have to have full concentration, and you have to ask question to yourself about your work, and you have to give answer to your questions. If you follow this all, you will have third eye. Then nobody can catch you from front side and also from back side. No accident can be embrace you. Let it be happened. For that purpose, be with third eye. Somebody, when they do grinding works, they use cutting wheels. For grinding purpose, always you have to use grinding wheel only. Grinding wheel has to be used for grinding. Cutting wheel shouldn't be used. Cutting wheel has to be used for only for cutting. Don't use grinding wheel. Buffing wheel has to be used only for buffing, not for grinding. Cup type brush wheel or some other type brush wheel we used to use for buffing. That has to be used for its own proper purpose. Other times you shouldn't use it. All things have to be used for its own use. It means don't use handmade tools. If you use handmade tools, the word handmade tools means the tools which is made in home. That isn't its meaning. You can make it in home, that isn't a problem. But it has got that name, homemade tools. How has it got that name? Whatever thing we buy from a authorized agency, authorized institute, authorized shop, it will have some certificates. Those tools can be used, those equipments can be used, those accessories can be used. But most of the time, if we make it in our home, it won't have one certificate, authorized certificate it doesn't have. So we don't encourage the things which we make in our own workshop, our own company, our own home. But if we have to have, but if we are having proper conference about the thing we have made, if we feel it won't make any accident, we can use it. We can ask to ourselves, is it a homemade tool or authorized tool? Authorized tool has to be used. Now, cutting wheel, whatever we get from shop, authorized place, is really certified one. But at the time of cutting, if we use grinding wheel, that becomes as a homemade tool. Actually, grinding wheel isn't a homemade tool, but the purpose is cutting, but we are using grinding wheel. Then grinding wheel becomes as one homemade tool. Same way, if we have to grind, we have to use grinding wheel only. Instead of that, if we use cutting wheel becomes as a homemade tool. Actually, it isn't a homemade tool. We have got it from shop. We have got it from authorized institute. But if we use it improperly, it will become as a homemade tool. In another way, these tools, the ones which doesn't have a life, they don't breathe, they don't have a life, they won't have enough ability to speak like us, they won't have enough abilities to think like all of us, but they can die anytime. They don't see anything, they don't hear anything, they don't smell anything, they don't eat anything, they don't feel anything, but they have one birth and they have one death. One grinding wheel is having a birth, one grinding wheel is having a death. Before the time of death, we shouldn't make death to any accessory or any tool or any equipment. Spanner has to be used in its own proper way. Then it won't have a death before the time of death. Screwdriver has to be used for its own proper purpose. Then it will have a long life. It won't have a death before the time of death. But in most of the workshops, most of the tools are getting death before the time of death, because we make it as a homemade tool. Actually, screwdriver isn't a homemade tool. We got it from shop, we got it from institute. But if we take it, it becomes as a homemade tool. Why? We are not able to do with that tool. In another way, we can say we aren't skilled worker. We can't be called as semi-skilled worker also. We have to be called as non-skilled worker, because we don't know to use screwdriver. Because of that, it gets death before the time of death. Spanner gets death before the time of death. Hammer gets death before the time of death. If we love them, if we think this hammer, this spanner, this pipe wrench, give me food to eat, we will respect it. We will love them. We won't hunger for the death of them, but we give death to them very easily. So, I conclude this one and I tell, don't use homemade tools. No tools aren't homemade tools, whatever we get from shop. But if we don't know to use it properly, actually it doesn't have life. It has birth only, death only. In between there is a life to everybody, but it doesn't have life. It doesn't breathe, it doesn't see, it doesn't hear, it doesn't speak. Even if it is so, it is the speciality of those tools, equipments, accessories. So they won't cheat us because they don't have life. They have only birth and death only. Who can cheat? The person who doesn't have proper heart, proper head will cheat us. But and these tools which don't have life, I told it doesn't have life, it has birth and death only. They won't cheat us, but if we don't use it properly, if we make it as a homemade tool, it will cheat us. This cheating has happened. This cheating will be against our body, against others' body, against our tools and equipments body. It will be against our materials body, and some damages may be happened. If these damages happen to materials or machines or some other thing, those ones will be got spoiled. If these damages happen to a human body, blood will be coming out. Sometimes blood may not come out. Especially if we hear sound for a long time, heavy sound, grinding sound, if we hear for long years, there won't be blood. Blood won't come out from our body, but it will affect our eardrum. That day itself, its result we won't have. Next day we won't recognize. Next week we won't recognize. Next month we won't recognize. Next year also we won't recognize the problem which comes out from hearing heavy sound. Grinder gives heavy sound. Hammering gives heavy sound. At the time of compressor operation, heavy sound comes out. This sound, if it has affected us for a long time, its result will be got after so many years. Sometimes when we may be resting in our home after a retirement, we won't be able to hear. That time we may approach a doctor. Doctor may not be able to do anything. He may ask, where were you working? That time you will say your own work. When he asks about description, you will have to say, I have heard the sound of grinder for long years. I have heard the sound of hammering for long years. This kind of heavy sounds I have heard, but I hadn't used proper eye protection. So, remember, the thing which doesn't have life, only birth and death, somebody is having. They are called, they aren't called creatures. Instead of that, they are called things like sand, stone, rock, metal. They won't cheat us, but if we don't use it properly, we will be cheated. So, I wish all of you to not to get cheated by these tools. So, use the tool in its proper way. Grinding wheel is to be used for grinding only, not for cutting. Cutting wheel is to be used for cutting only, not for grinding purpose. Spanner is to be used for spannering only, tightening or unfastening only, not for hammering purpose. Hammer has to be used for hammering only, not for levering purpose. Screwdriver has to be used for tightening or unfastening, not for levering purpose. Lever has to be used for levering only, not for hammering or for some other purposes. All tools are having its own use. Those use has to be used. Otherwise, you will be called. You have to be called. You aren't a skilled worker. I am so many years I have worked in this field. I am really worrying to use one tool for another purpose. My great desire is it shouldn't be got spoiled. Sometimes everybody may say, what will happen if we use this screwdriver like a lever? It is for 1 second, 2 seconds. Yes, I know this. It is for 1 second or 2 seconds. It won't be for more than 1 minute also. Even if this kind of 1 seconds, this kind of 1 minutes becomes the effect of 1 hour or 1 day or 1 week or 1 year, if it is used for so many times. This 1 seconds, so many times it is added, it will become as 10 second or 100 second or more than 1000 or 10,000 seconds. Because of that, that tool will be reached in the state of death. Actually, it has a time of death. Before the time of death, it is getting death. Why does it get death? Its owner is myself and yourself. The person who is using that tool is called its owner. Owner doesn't know its worker. Owner doesn't know its slave. Actually, these tools have to be your slave. Then they will obey you. They won't attack you. If they aren't a slave, you become a slave, then they will become as owner and they will beat you with those tools. So let it not be happened in your life. So use the tool for its own proper purpose. Last some episodes, I have told the speciality of PPE. Always we have to wear PPE. Now we shall think about helmet. It is very essential. If something falls from top side, we won't have more effect if we are having one helmet. It is a speciality of helmet. Its top side doesn't touch in our head. Instead of that, everybody knows inside of this helmet some rope type ribbons are there. These ribbons are touching in our body. So slight weight things fall down to our head, it won't affect us. So always be with the helmet. It has some other uses also. Actually, it is designed for safe work. That time also, another purpose also, another goodness also we will get from we will get from helmet. If you work outside, if there isn't a shelter, if there is heavy sunlight is there, we won't have the effect of sunlight because this helmet doesn't touch in our head is the main thing. In between helmet's top side and our head, there is a slight gap is there. For making that gap, one ribbon type, one net is lying there. And the helmet's four sides have been covered with a horizontal portion. So it will give the effect of an umbrella. So we can escape from sunlight also. Actually, I shouldn't say about it because it doesn't have any relationship with safety. Helmet is made for safety, but that time itself we can escape from sunlight also. And when we cross one place, it doesn't have more height. Sometimes our head may be touched in those portion. Because of that, if we don't have helmet, our head may be injured. Instead of that, if we wear helmet, we won't have this kind of injuries. Always when we wear helmet, one essential thing we have to wear with this helmet, that is called chin strap. Chin strap starts from this area, means approximately a place is in front of our ear, and it will reach up to the bottom side of our neck, up to the bottom side of our this area. Our beard will be covered with this chin strap. Chin strap has to be fastened in our face. If we cover it fully, it won't go out from there. Especially when we will be working at the top side of a plant or a barge or a ship or some other height areas, wind may be affected if we don't have chin strap, and if we don't keep it in our body properly. Chin strap means chin is, this area is chin. This area has to be covered, and it has to make a rotation like this for not going away from our head. If it is with us, if chin strap is with our helmet, it won't fall down. If it falls down, we will lose helmet. More than that, that will make one accident to the ones who stay downside. So always use chin strap. The ones who travels in two-wheeler has to wear. The ones who travels in two-wheeler has to wear chin strap with its helmet. Otherwise, it may make another accident. At the time of accident, helmet may be thrown out from his head, her head. Because of that, the proper time, we don't get its use and we will get accident. Once one accident happened in my hometown. So many people described this accident to police station. They called to the police by phone. Then for using phone, police asked from police station the person who has got accident whether he has worn helmet or not. Then he answered through phone, he has worn helmet. Then police told, good, it is luck. But when he came and checked, everything is perfect. Helmet is there, chin strap is there, head is there, but one thing wasn't there. Remaining part of head, from our neck, one portion is starting, our body starts, but body wasn't there in that head. Helmet is there, head is there, chin strap is there, but the portion from neck to bottom wasn't there. So we may try to avoid accidents using PPE. That time also because of unluck, we aren't being escaped. So remember, PPE just helps to minimize. The word minimize has to be emphasized. PPE minimize accidents only. If we don't wear PPE also, it will give major accidents. So always be with PPE. Then we can minimize accidents. In PPE, some companies are telling mandatory PPE is for. Most of the companies are telling mandatory PPE is 4, but some companies are telling mandatory PPE is 5. We can think the 4 PPE, mandatory PPE is safety helmet, goggles, coverall, shoe. These 4 are essential. Some companies are telling one more thing as mandatory PPE, that is gloves. Other so many PPEs are there. Those ones aren't mandatory PPE. Especially, example, one earplug, that isn't a mandatory PPE, that is an additional PPE. We have to wear it at the time of its use only. Mask, it isn't a mandatory PPE. It is an additional PPE. It has to be worn at the time of special use only. Safety harness, it isn't a mandatory PPE. It is an additional PPE only. It too has to be used at the time of its own proper use only. But mandatory PPE includes helmet, goggles, coverall, shoe. In this 4, helmet is having very, very importance. More than this all, it is the top side of all PPE. That isn't the proper matter. Our head has to be escaped from all accidents. So always we have to have safety helmet when we will be at the place of site, place of working location. Somebody wears this safety harness as an ornament. We wear ornament in our neck as a garland, or in our hand as a bangle, or in our finger as a ring. But this PPE shouldn't be used as one ornament. It isn't for showing to others. Instead of that, its proper use has to be happened. If you wear safety harness, it has to be clamped on the proper place of clamping. Otherwise, safety harness won't have any use. Then we can say he has worn or she has worn safety harness like a garland, safety harness like a jewelry. Nothing should be worn like jewelry. If you wear helmet, it has to kept in its proper place. Somebody keeps it in its back side, slightly pull it to back side, or somebody brings it to some front side or right side or left side when they get a sweat bath. Don't use like that. If you use it, I will have to say, you use this PPE like an ornament. Don't use it as an ornament. Safety helmet isn't an ornament. Safety goggles isn't an ornament. Somebody wears goggles, always they wear goggles, but their goggles will be slightly upside. they will be kept their goggles in its top side. Everybody knows whatever I have worn, this is the safety goggle. It is an ordinary spectacle. I have the problem of eyes. I can't see the things which is very near to me. I can't read. Because of that, I have worn. It is lens stripe spectacle only. It is in the goggles. If it was a goggles, it had to have covering in its displays. This place also, it won't have gap. Now here we can see gap. Here we can see gap. Here we can see gap. Metals will come inside through this place, this place, this place. So it is in the safety goggle. It is an ordinary spectacle only for seeing the things which is very near to me. I am using it for seeing the things which is very near to me. Somebody is using spectacle for seeing the things far away from their eyes. Anyway, safety helmet shouldn't be worn as a ornament, as an ornament. It shouldn't be worn as an ornament. Safety coverall shouldn't be worn as an ornament. If you wear it, it's all buttons have to be worn fully, and all coveralls will have full sleeve. Full sleeve, if it is having full sleeve has to be used. Don't fold your hand. If you fold, it's a proper use you won't have. Like that, when you wear safety shoe, it should be worn properly. Its lace has to be fastened properly. Otherwise, it may make another accident. Your one leg may be touched. Your one leg may be caught in another leg's lace, and you may fall down. We may say, everybody may say, I am not a child. I know everything. Everybody knows. But the persons who has got accident and the persons who has got and the persons who have got death, they too were saying this kind of words. Now they aren't here to say, how did you die? If we ask, they won't give answer. Now they are not alive. They too considered this kind of things are so minor things. They heard this kind of toolbox through one ear and they removed it out through another ear. Because of that, they got accident. They didn't keep this kind of things in their mind, heart. They didn't underline it in their brain. They didn't highlight it in their heart. We have to highlight these things. Anytime accident may happen. We may say, it won't make one big accident. Now I remember one thing. It happened in my hometown. One fellow died. I asked, how did it happen? How did it happen? Then, through phone, I asked this kind of question to my wife. Then she told me she fell down from a ladder. Then I thought he may have worked in so height. He may have worked in second floor or third floor. Then she told he wasn't working in second floor or third floor. He wasn't working in first floor also. He was in ground floor. There was a small ladder. It's 5 or 6 feet top side. It means